On June 28, 2013, the /playsound command was added to Minecraft. Only a year later, Notch sold the game to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. Coincidence? Probably, but Minecraft's sound system sucks absolute cock and balls. As someone who has made countless maps and is now recreating an entire Zelda game, I've had it up to here with this terrible implementation. Let's fix this pile of horseshit once and for all. Mojang, if you're watching, I don't know if you'll add this, but let's just say I know where Jeb lives. Anyone who has tried to do anything with sounds other than just playing them knows of this tragedy. It basically all boils down to this. We lack control over sounds. Once a sound has been started, the only thing you can do is to stop it using the /stopsound command. You can't change the volume or pitch while it's playing. You can't rewind, skip a part, add effects, etc. My limited knowledge of how Java works makes me uncertain if a more customizable system is actually possible, but here is my suggestion, the /sound command. The first step with this new command is to create a new sound using the /soundCreate command. This subcommand requires a few parameters. One of them, logically, is the actual sound you want to play. Next, you can give the sound a custom name to target it later. After that, you could specify whether the sound is local or global. A local sound is played at a fixed coordinate, or at an entity's location. A global sound is played with the same settings for everyone everywhere. If you want to play background music, this is what you should go with. Local sounds need parameters for either coordinates or an entity. These parameters are all permanent values for that sound, meaning they cannot be changed dynamically later. Any other parameters, such as volume or pitch, can be modified using the /soundModify command. If you use this subcommand, you'll need to target a sound that is in your world. For this, you can use target selectors, like for entities. If you, for example, made a sound with the custom name fart_reverb, you can target it by running /soundModify fart_reverb. If, however, you have multiple sounds with the same name, you can further sort them, for example, /soundModify fart_reverb type equals local. If you're working with local sounds, you can also use distance sorting. You can also sort by volume, pitch, age, etc., and more sorting will come soon. Once you've targeted a sound or multiple sounds for modifying, you should specify what parameter you wish to modify, followed by the new value you wanted. A finished command could be /soundModify fart_reverb type equals local, distance is smaller than 10, volume 0, which will mute all the local fart reverb sounds in a radius of 10 blocks. At this point, the sound has not been played yet, because you still need to tell it to start playing. To play a sound, run /soundPlay, followed by the target for your sound. To pause a sound, run /soundPause. To warp to a point in a sound, use /soundWarp, followed by a target, followed by a specified time in either ticks or seconds. To stop a sound, meaning it pauses and warps back to the start, use /soundStop. A sound can also be targeted based on how far it has played. So you could run /soundModify fart_reverb time equals 420 ticks, volume 0. If a song reaches the end, it will automatically get a boolean tag called finished, set to true, which you can also target. To remove a sound, just run /soundRemove followed by your sound target. Some may find this new system quite overwhelming and too complex if you just want to play a jingle once at a set volume. For example, if you want to play a burp sound globally at half its volume and remove it once it has finished, you will currently need all of these commands. First, /soundCreate Minecraft entity.player.burp burp global, /soundModify burp volume 0.5, /soundPlay burp, and /soundRemove burp finished equals true, which will run in a loop, so every tick. That's why we'll add a couple of finishing touches to this. In the command to modify a sound, you can also specify whether the sound will automatically remove itself after finishing, which is set to false by default. So instead of doing all of that, you can do /soundCreate Minecraft entity.player.burp burp global, /soundModify burp volume 0.5, and /soundModify burp auto remove true, and then finally /soundPlay burp. Now the sound will automatically remove itself once it has finished playing. If however this is still not enough, and you only need the bare basics you could accomplish with the old playsound command, you can add a special parameter to the /soundCreate command like this. /soundCreate Minecraft entity.player.burp global fixed. The sound is now fixed, meaning it cannot be modified at all. It will play automatically and immediately, and it will remove itself after finishing. Just like in the old playsound command, you can also put some basic parameters after the fixed tag in a set order. For example, /soundCreate Minecraft entity.player.burp burp global fixed at a 0.51. The burp sound will be played for every player at half the volume and a normal pitch, all in one command. By default, a sound will be available to every player in the world. If you wish to modify this so that even if it's a global sound or a local sound which is very close to someone, a player still can't hear it, you should use /soundPlayers. For example, /soundPlayers burp at a game mode equals survival. This will make the burp sound hearable only by players in survival mode. If you need to modify multiple things about a sound, you can replace multiple /soundModify commands with one longer command. Since every modifier just follows the form modifier name value, you can specify multiple at once like so. For example, /soundModify burp volume 0.5, pitch 0.9, auto remove true. You can also loop a sound. You can make it loop a set amount of times or forever with the same modifier, which accepts numbers or the value infinite. Also note that when you use a local sound and play it at an entity, it will move with that entity, so if the entity moves away from you, the sound will also become less loud. If I want to make the Ender Dragon goofy I can do that like this. /soundCreate custom.goofy local at e type equals Ender Dragon limit equals 1, and then /soundModify goofy loop infinite. Finally, /soundPlay goofy. There are quite a few other modifiers you can use, next to volume, pitch, auto remove and loop. First is the reverse modifier, which will simply make the sound play in reverse. Every other feature works like normal, but the start of the sound will be regarded as the end of the sound and vice versa. For local sounds, there will be spatialization by default, meaning the sound will be played differently at different volumes in both your ears to add a sense of direction. You can disable this using the spatialization modifier. Another option for local sounds is how the volume should decrease as you get away from its source. The way it decreases is fixed, because it's a linear function, but you can modify the reach of the sound. If you're standing right on the source, the sound will be played at the volume that you chose, and by default the volume will be 0 at a 10 block distance. You can use the reach modifier to change this, and the decrease in volume will dynamically update for distances between 0 and the region that you chose. For global sounds, you can add your own spatialization. You can change modifiers to make the sound louder in one ear than the other. By default, the values for both ears are equal to 1, which is the normal volume. If you run these commands, it will change. /soundModify burp spatial right 0.5. Now the sound will still be at full volume in your left ear, but it will be at half volume in your right ear. Another modifier is the speed at which the sound is played. This is completely separated from the pitch. In the old playsound command, upping the pitch would also speed up the sound, but not in this superior system. The speed can be changed without affecting the pitch, using the speed modifier. The final modifier is for tags. If you want to group multiple sounds together to either play them at once or modify them all at once, you can give each one a certain tag. Just set the tag modifier to any string you desire. To specify a tag in a target, you can either use it in the square brackets like tag equals, or start with it by putting a hashtag in front of the tag name. This makes it regard the string after as a tag and not as the custom name for a sound. Modifiers are epic, but they change instantly. Wouldn't it be cool if the volume could transition smoothly from point A to point B, or really if this could work for any modifier? You can do that using /soundTransition. The first parameter it takes is the target sound. After that, you specify the modifier you want to change. then the value you want to change it to. After that, you can select a transition type and finally the duration of the transition. For example, /sound transition burp volume 0 ease in out 3 seconds. For easy fading in and out, you can add the parameters pause or stop to the end of this command so that after the transition is done, the sound pauses or stops. Now that this amazing system that's much better than anything a Swedish game company could come up with is done, let's go over an example to illustrate what you can do with this. Let's say that you're making a game in Minecraft and different areas need different music tracks that fade into each other smoothly. With the old terrible fucky system, this would be incredibly bad, because the music would just cut out and the new song would start abruptly. With the new system, you could make every track a different sound. Then, you can control them so they play at the right times. Give every sound an identical tag called music. Let's say we have a function that is run when we enter a new area, so it has to initiate in the new music track. This new function first has to make the currently playing music track fade out and then stop. So /sound transition #music playing equals true, volume 0 ease 4 seconds stop. At the same time, the new track can crossfade into your beautiful ears like this. /sound play track_village. Remember to set the volume of every sound in this group to 0 before you do anything with them. This way, when a track is not playing and we start it, it always begins at a muted volume. We can then transition into full volume like this. /sound transition track_village volume 1 ease 4 seconds. By running just 3 commands, you've created a smooth 4-second crossfade between 2 songs. You can add more effects and such with more intricate code if you want. Next, to loop a song, you can do 2 things. The first is just make the sound file perfectly loop, but this doesn't always work. A second option is to find 2 points somewhere in your track. The first point will always be at the start of the track, but after the introduction. The second point is more near the end. Both points should be able to flow smoothly into each other. That's great. Once you know the timings of these points, preferably in ticks, you can use some commands to make it loop that section. Let's say that the loopable section is from tick 1233 to tick 4020. The best approach would be to start a timer when the track begins that counts to 4020 ticks and then warps to tick 1233. When it has warped to tick 1233, start a new timer that ends when it's once again at 4020 ticks. You do the maths. So first of all, /schedule function loop me for the 4020 ticks, and then once it has started looping, /sound warp track village 1233 ticks, and then /schedule function loop me 2787 ticks, which is just 4020 minus 1233. With this system, you've got a very nice music system for your game. I could give more examples here, but I think that through this video I've illustrated that a command like this could greatly benefit the game in many ways. I don't expect this to ever be added, in part because I think a system like this is much too complicated for the engine Minecraft runs on, or it would require a full rework of a core system in the game. But in my most optimistic scenario, we get this and the game flourishes with new maps containing beautiful sound work. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon, and don't forget to stay safe.